This course is going to be taught through a process called Flip Mastery. And so all of my lectures, all of my resources, everything is going to be on this web page. And then you are going to progress through it at your own pace. And as we go through the process in class, hopefully this makes a little more sense to you. But I kind of want to go over real quickly how this is going to work. So you should have already come and watched, come to this point where you have watched the videos. You've watched the video of my grading and the rules and things for the class. Here's a brief video over what economics is. It's very, very important because the information that's on this video is going to be on every single test that you take. Scarcity is so important, and you need to understand that concept. And you just cannot get through this course without understanding a few basic concepts. And so what's in this first unit really is something that we are going to be looking at for the whole entire semester. So if you cannot get past this one, you have some problems. If you can get past this one and then you cannot give me this information on every single unit, you will be seeing the ideas of incentives and voluntary exchange and scarcity opportunity costs in every single unit that we do. So this unit is extremely important only because we refer to it throughout the whole entire course. So what I have done is, and what I'm in the process of doing, is creating a place for you to go for every single unit that has all the resources that you need, including some additional remedial activities. If you can't get it the first time and you need some additional practice, I'll make sure that all of that information is here. So each unit will be broken down into various standards. For this one, the first standard that we're going to be looking at is incentives. And so you'll click on that, and there are actually two economic standards. And these come directly from what I pulled from the state of Indiana, the Department of Education. And the two standards that deal with incentives are identify incentives and explain how they influence decisions, and then explain how interest rates can act as an incentive for savers and borrowers. And you were supposed to, back here, print off the copy of the grading rubric that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using that, and in conjunction with that, I'm also going to be using for each unit the I can statements. So this just takes you back to the web page if you've downloaded this and you have it on your laptop. Then I'm going to give you some sort of quote that goes along very well with each one of the incentives that we're talking about. And then down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a checklist of the things that you need to do. Everything that you see on this checklist is going to be back here under the resources. Eventually, I'm going to have a remediation tab that gives you additional assignments for each one of those, that if this is not enough for you and you want to do those extra ones or work through them to make sure that you know how to do it, that's not a problem. But you need to, along with the rules and grading procedures and the general rubric that you need to make sure for Unit 1 that you have this printed off. And so this is the first standard, and this is the first checklist. So here's the first standard that I talked about. These four resources go with it. Then this is the next one that I had posted on that front page, and then here are two resources that go along with that. And so with each one of the checklists, I'm also going to give you an example question. And if you cannot answer that question, then you need to go back and look at some of the stuff. You're going to be allowed to work with your groups. You can work with me. This is going to give me the opportunity to work with everyone who needs worked with, and if you don't, if you understand all this, you can continue to go on throughout the whole entire units. So for each one of these, I will have the incentive, or excuse me, the standard that you should have under this, and then the I can statements that must be printed off. I'll have all of the videos with great explanations. Some of them are mine, some of them are not. And then all of the resources that are going to be necessary for you to do that. So you will be working your way through this. And and this is going to be under construction all the time. So I'll be adding things. If you find something that you think is helpful that I haven't found, please share that with me, and I will add that to the web page. So that's how this is going to work. You need to work through all of these. When you feel like you have gone through all 4 of the checklists and you understand everything that you need to do for each one of those, you'll bring your 3-ring binder up to me. We'll look through your evidence that you have, which means you have printed off everything and you've done all the work that needs to be done. And some of you will need to do more work than others. Some of you can do one thing and say, I completely understand what all of this means. I don't need to continue doing the same thing. So do the amount of work that's necessary for you to understand and continue on, and then you can move on to Unit 2. I will have an overview for each one of these units at the very beginning. So this is the first unit.